Oh, that might hit people.
Uh-oh. 4 right.
4! Shit.
Yeah. I guess we're a
Yeah,
little closer
sorry, I
than we
forgot.
thought. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Sorry.
Everyone's still standing. I thought when you were saying that, you were like, oh, we're on number 5.
I mean,
at
that almost
Sawgrass.
killed somebody. Holy smokes. Totally forgot, sorry.
Hey, maybe we'll hit 3-wood. Wyndham Clark is about to be on the tee with us. We're at Troon North in Scottsdale, but we are getting Wyndham at a really good time. He's gearing up for major championship season. He's having a moment, top 5 player in the world, but I don't think I know that much about his process yet. We've heard about the work he's done in the mental game, but specifically how that translates to the way he gets ready for golf rounds, I'm excited to learn a little bit more. So we've got Wyndham taking us through his bag and gearing up for a round of golf. Right now, we're warming up. Wyndham, thanks for warming up with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I want you to just take us through it. I want you to walk us through your process here. There's some stuff that maybe you would have done before a typical round that you haven't done this morning. Like maybe you haven't gotten a full pump in. I don't know, like what does that pre-range process look like?
Yeah, as far as warm-up goes, I give myself about an hour and 10 minutes before I peg it on the first tee. And, that's hitting balls, chipping and putting. And then before that, it's another 30 minutes in the gym.
Okay.
Where it is more of a like muscle activation. I'm actually doing somewhat of workout, trying to get a good sweat, the heart rate going, to where if I had to go straight to the first tee, I could, because my body's super warm and ready. So I would have done that.
What kind of stuff is that? Is that just like just curls and bench, like just glory muscles, or what are you doing in there?
It is not just curls and bench. Yeah, just look good for the girls out there. No, it is a lot of like making sure that I activate the glutes.
Let's go.
But it's making sure that all the muscles that you kind of use in the body for golf are all like kind of firing and going. So I do a lot of core. I do a lot of stuff for like me personally for back, so that my posture is really good. A lot of rotational stuff, a lot of stuff for the glutes and hamstrings. And then a lot of explosive stuff, because golf, contrary to maybe some belief, it is an explosive sport. You're pretty still, and then you set up, and then you swing at 125 miles an hour. And so I try to, work that out in the gym so that my body's ready to go and can be swinging fast and doing everything I need.
Got it. And then what club did you just grab?
So I always start, if it's a warm-up for a round, I always start with a gap wedge, my 51 degree, and I kind of set up this little tee drill, and this has kind of become my thing. I don't have a swing coach, and so I work on it myself, and this is my swing coach. And so what I do here is I tee it up every time for 2 reasons: for ball position and setup, so that I always am trying to start at neutral. And then the other thing is the tee is huge for me to make sure I don't get too steep, and so I tend to be steep. And so under pressure, I get down like this, I start swinging really left, big divots, swipey cuts. And so what I'm trying to do here is neutralize that and be the opposite, so that when I get into competition, it's in where I want to be. So I'll start out here.
Cool. Yeah, hit us a couple.
Yeah. I'll start out here, and like what I try to do is pick it and almost hit a high draw.
Knowing that kind of once you get on the course, it's not going to be a high draw.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
Exactly. So I'm trying to be really, really shallow. And this is just kind of, I set up, and especially with the wedge at the beginning, I just am trying to feel, okay, how's my body moving? Am I hitting the high draw? And if I'm doing that, then I know, okay, we're swinging actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then if I come out here and it seems like I'm hitting cuts or pulls or pushes, I go, okay, is it ball position? Is it...
Where is this gap wedge in your stance?
So pretty much dead middle of the stance,
yeah,
as much as possible. And so I'll just hit some shots, and I'm just really going, okay, you know what, that one was a good one there. Started right on my line, felt nice, release. And so I'll do this with, let's see, I think it's like 6 clubs in my bag, and I'll hit about anywhere from 5 to 7 with each one. And that's literally just getting a baseline for every club. So I'll go from this
give us
gap
your next,
wedge, then I'll go to like a 9-iron, then a 7-iron.
Here, hit us a couple 7-irons here in that same process.
And yeah, and it's always teed up. So everyone always gives me weird looks, like you're hitting a wedge off a tee. And like,
how did you figure that out?
So this happened about a year and a half ago.
That's pure.
Yeah, that one was nice. This happened a year and a half ago when I did decide to go on my own.
Yeah.
I reached out to some swing coaches that I really respect and admire, and I know they know the swing. And I just said, hey, what do you think of my swing? And one of the guys that I really trusted said, I think your ball position's too far up, and I think you need to feel like you hit tight draws. And that's what my caddy, John, and I both agreed with, but it was nice to see someone say that. And so I said, okay, what's the best way for me to do that? And John and I both came up with, all right, let's just put it on a tee and pick it off the tee. And also for ball position, let's just make sure it never gets up too far up. So we are always working on that. So that's kind of how it started. And we've been doing it for a year and a half. And, you know, I went from being, I don't know, 150th or 60th in strokes gained approach to now top 30 or 40.
So funny, all this attention that we and you guys pay to like, oh, who's the perfect swing coach for these guys and for you.
Say that again?
I guess you found him.
Oh yeah, it's myself.
How many did you go through before then?
I unfortunately went through a lot. Let's see. As a pro, I worked with 2 guys pretty consistently for about 5 years, and then in that I saw maybe 2 or 3 other guys just to get information. And then in college I worked with a few guys, and so I've seen a lot. And in that though, I learned a lot too. I learned, you know, things that worked for me. I learned a lot about the golf swing, TrackMan, all that stuff.
In other words, it might not have worked if you had just gone out on your own straight away. It's not like, oh, I should have done this right away. You learned some things that maybe you can now tap into?
For sure. I mean, I have to give those guys credit. They really made, you know, a lot of my swing really technically sound. It's just I was missing the one component, which was, you know, control of the club face and the ball flight. And so my swing aesthetically looked nice, and I hit a lot of great angles, and everyone always said, man, your swing's so nice, you know, you have such a beautiful swing. But I didn't know where the golf ball was going. And I think when I owned it myself, I really learned. I was like, okay, you know what? You know, why is that? And then that's when I weakened my grip and got my club face more open, which most people are like, you know, trying to get the club face really square to shut, and I'm trying to get it more open because then it helps me hit my cut. And so I figured out a lot of things on my own, and then that's, to answer your question, yeah, I think those guys laid the foundation, and then now I'm able to do it on my own.
Hell yeah. All right, hit us one more of these and we'll keep moving up in clubs here.
Perfect.
I'm doing too much jabbering, not enough progression here. All right, wait, so that's a 7-iron. And then you would just keep going, what, you'd go 5-iron next?
Yeah, I'd go 5-iron, and then I'd go to my 2-iron, 3-iron, or 3-wood, and then driver.
Let's see a couple of these 2-irons.
And so I do all this just to get, like, make sure, I mean, this ball position changes a little bit. Obviously, it's a 2-iron, so it's a little more up in my stance, but I want to make sure it's not too far up, and I'm still trying to do the same thing. Hit a little draw.
Holy cow. That thing comes out like a rocket, huh?
Yeah, it's a hot club, that's for sure.
How long have you had that club, that 2-iron?
This is, I've kind of played a 2-iron my whole career. Yeah. This one specifically, it's been actually the start of this year. This was a new one I put in Palm Springs.
This is your fresh Mizuno. Nice.
Yeah.
And are you thinking about anything besides like contact right now in terms of how the ball looks? You want maybe a little draw, so you want to see a little right to left. But
yeah, I'm thinking start line. I'm thinking mainly contact and just kind of how my body moves. And so like I'll go from here to a 3-wood, then to a driver. And it's literally just to get my baseline. So I think of it as if someone that's putting on a mirror every day, like for putting, you check everything to make sure it's right, and then you go off of it. And so that's what I do, is this is my mirror, and this tells me where my swing's at. And then what I'll do is I'll take it off the tee here shortly, and then I'll start hitting shots. So
all right.
If you want, I'll go to like a 3-wood.
Perfect. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, not too
and pretty straight.
Yeah, I mean, I typically off the tee when I'm doing this, it doesn't actually curve too much.
Yeah. Have you been able to hit it big for forever, like since you were a kid?
As far as distance?
Yeah.
I didn't hit my growth spurt really till end of high school.
Okay.
But I was pretty little when I was, not saying I'm big by any means, but I was really short when my freshman, sophomore year. But I played other sports, and so I
was going to say you were playing basketball too, right?
I was playing basketball, and I gained a lot of speed through all of that, trying to hit it far. And then as I grew, then that's when I really got all my speed. So it's kind of in high school. So I would do that, hit a little bit of drivers, and then I take it off the tee, put it on the dirt, and now I start hitting shots.
Okay.
So now I'll go at a flag, and I'll try to hit little cuts, little draws.
Fun.
And I'll prepare myself for the day. So I know, okay, I'm gonna have wedges where I need to take off some, I need to add some, and then I'll go to iron, same thing. So it's kind of a...
So what's your target here with your first wedge?
I'm going at this orange flag, and the wind's off the left, which you always gotta be conscious of the wind so you know that it's not you, it's the wind moving the ball.
Yep.
So I'll be aiming just left, and I'm just trying to hit a small little cut to it.
And when you're hitting a cut, do you make any adjustments, or like in terms of ball position or anything, or that's just like your natural shot shape? So if you don't do anything, then it's just gonna cut? Yeah,
so what I try to do is that tee setup that I just had, where the ball's really neutral, that's aimed right at where, train tracks right at the flag, and I'm trying to hit very straight to the little draw. What I'll do is I'll adjust that left of the target. The ball position will go up a fraction. A tiny bit. And then what I just try to feel is that I just keep that face open to the path. And so as I'm set up here to hit another cut, so I feel like I'm left of the target, and then I just try to hold the face just a little bit to hit a nice little cut like that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Woo. Right on it.
Yeah. So then I would do that, and then John typically is the one that's kind of guiding some of this, is he'll be like, all right, now let's hit a tight draw. We need we need 5 extra yards or something. Are
you thinking about, oh, this is for 15, the approach shot's going to be 110 yards? And
yeah, so we'll go through shots where he's like, okay, today on, it's all assuming we hit the tee ball exactly where we want and we're in the fairway. But he's like, okay, we're going to have, it's back left pin on, whatever hole. And he goes, we're going to have 148, and I'm hitting my pitching wedge 144 that week. So he goes, we need 4 to 5 extra yards. I'll hit a tight draw to try to gain that extra yardage. And so I'll set up and kind of visualize the shot.
All right, so say that's, have you picked a flag here?
Yeah, so we'll go with that black flag, which is just a little right of it. So I'll be aiming at the green one, and it's gonna be tough with this wind off the left, but I'll come in and I'll feel, okay, this feels pretty good. And so I'll feel like a pretty good sized draw to get it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at you. You got that draw left going into the wind even.
Yeah. I'm actually swinging better than I thought it would this morning. But yeah, so we just do that, and we go through the different clubs throughout the bag. And so, we'd go to a mid iron or
let's do
long iron. So let's see, we'll go to a 6 iron.
Okay.
And so we'll do the same thing. So now,
how far does 6 iron go?
This club is so funny. No matter where we go, it's always 200 yards. It's like the weirdest thing.
That's just your benchmark. 6 iron just goes 200.
It's so funny. It could be at 1,000 feet, or at Pebble Beach and it's cold. It seems to always go 200. So now we're going to the blue flag. I usually always start by hitting a little cut.
All right, blue flag with a little cut. And so you like to work the ball. You're not a guy that's going to hit the exact same shot shape every time, and you're just going to hit a, 3-yard cut every single shot.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously that's, let's say, 75% of the time I'm hitting cuts. But I do like to work the ball. It kind of stops when I get to the 5-4 iron. Those are less likely to be working it both ways. I kind of just choose hitting good contact in a consistent shape. But from 6 iron down, I mean, to add yardage, take off yardage, get to certain pins, I'm either cutting it, hitting straight, drawing it, whatever it is. So I think it makes it a little more fun too when you're trying to shape shots. It helps your misses.
Do you like to ride the wind with your shot shape, or would you rather hold it off against the wind?
It's a good question. I guess it depends on. You know what's funny is I bet I ride the wind more than I hold it, and that might be contrary to some people. I don't really know what they do, but I feel like anytime I try to fight the wind, I get bigger misses. Versus if I ride the wind, it's kind of always working the direction of where the wind's going.
Yeah.
And like, I'll give you an example. If the wind's off the left and it's a left pin, a lot of people are like, all right, let's hit a draw. Well, if my miss with a draw is I come out of it. So I would come out of it, block it, wind takes it. Now I'm so far right that you're in a bad spot. Versus if I said, okay, you know what? Maybe I should aim a little bit left and hit a tight, like straight ball or a cut. Now it starts left of the flag and it's working towards the flag and maybe a little way, but never way over here. And so that's kind of what I've always done. I went to school in Oklahoma. We played with a lot of wind.
That's right.
And it seemed like that always worked out better than.
I guess it's like we want your ball like above the hole, breaking towards it, rather than like once you get below the hole, breaking away from it, you're in trouble.
100%. Yeah, I always feel like I'm working it towards the pin, and when you're working against the wind, I mean, there are times you do it. Don't get me wrong, but. I usually lean towards riding the wind. So,
you have a favorite golf club?
Yeah, what's funny is I love my 9-iron. I don't know what it is. Most people.
The 9 can be like a forgotten club in there, I feel like.
Most people love a 7-iron. They love, whatever, a driver or 3-wood. 9-iron, I just feel like I can do anything with the club. So. It's kind of the first club in your bag that you can actually start to see shot shapes. So, wedges, you're not really curving the ball that much. And then with a 9-iron, I feel like I can curve it. I can hit it low, I can hit it high, I can take off a lot. The loft, for some reason, just looks good to me. And so I always get excited when I have a 9-iron. I feel like I'm going to hit it close.
And when do you consciously dial up like the club twirl, or is that just something that happens?
I don't club twirl much.
But when you do, it's aggressive, and you do it with intention.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, obviously, the one at the U.S. Open was completely like an unconscious motion. Like, I did not, in the air go, oh, I'm going to club twirl. I was so into the shot, and it just happened. And I didn't even know I did it until afterwards people... I was like, oh, I club twirled, and they showed me, and I go, wow, that was pretty epic club twirl, but I didn't even know. So I really don't, it's kind of one of those things where you're so into the shot, it just happens, and it could be a little bit through osmosis of watching Tiger growing up, and you just saw him do it in big moments, and maybe my subconscious just is like, hey, when you hit a good shot in a big moment, that's what you do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
God, that's cool. Do you have a favorite golf shot that you've ever hit?
Yeah, I've had a few. A lot of them seem to be happening recently.
Yeah. You've had some good ones these last few weeks.
Yeah, that I'd say at that U.S. Open. I mean, that 8-iron that hit the flag on Saturday was where I did club twirl was pretty awesome. Just because I bogeyed the hole before, it was so big to have a good hole in 18. To get into that final group.
You were in the dark.
Yeah, I had momentum going into Sunday. So that was big. And then probably that 3-wood. 3-wood off the deck for me growing up was always a really hard club for me to hit. And so I've never just been really comfortable hitting 3-wood off the deck. And, hitting that in that moment on 14 with the pressure and pulling off that shot was definitely something that I really look at as one of the better shots in my career. So
That was an incredible shot.
yeah.
All right, now that we've gotten you fully out of your routine, but you still absolutely pured that one. All right, what's next? You want to go back to a long iron here?
Yeah, so 6 iron, we would then go to, we'd start hitting some woods and some tee shots. So,
Yeah.
if you want, I can go to driver.
For sure.
And
Let's see it.
What we'll typically do is, John will start off and he'll say, okay, we're on let's hit the tee, we'll go to tough tee balls.
Yeah.
And so he'll be like, all right, let's go to we just played players. He'd be like, all right, tee ball on the 5th hole. Kind of a tough shot. And he's like, it's going to be in off the left. And so I'm imagining that shot. And I go, okay, I want to hit a low cut in off the left. And so I'll set up and I'll kind of have my parameters. And I'll try to basically replicate that shot. So that when I get there, I've already done it. Oh, that might hit people.
Uh-oh. 4 right.
4! Shit.
Yeah. I guess we're a little closer
sorry, I
than we
forgot.
thought. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Sorry.
Everyone's still standing. I thought when you were saying that, you were like, oh, we're on number 5.
That almost killed
Sawgrass.
somebody. Holy smokes. Totally forgot, sorry.
Hey, maybe we'll hit 3-wood.
No, I think
That's still too far.
Here, I'll go farther left, and I'll hit it soft.
I thought you were still in your bit, that you were at TPC Sawgrass, and you're like, that might hit someone in the crowd.
No, that was...
you literally meant that guy in the white quarter zip down there.
No, that was a perfect tee ball.
No, you smoked it.
I just smoked the fairway. All right, so let's go like a tough tee ball at players for me, as me being a cutter typically, is the second tee shot at the players. You have to kind of hit a draw. And so we'll go to that, and I'll work on hitting a draw.
Nice.
And so he'll say, all right, tee, the wind's in off the right, which helps the draw. And he's like, we need it to draw about 15 yards. And then I hit a snap hook way left. But what we'll do is we'll essentially just work on the shots.
How involved are your hands when you're like trying to hit a draw, say? Are you trying to do it mostly with like path and with setup, or are you doing anything with your hands?
Yeah, I would say just because typically drawing it is tougher for me, I probably have to get a little bit of hands involved, but definitely set up. So I'm right of my target. My path is out to the right. I'm just trying to have that face be shut to the path.
Okay.
But I definitely feel like that extra little draw does come from a little bit of a active release with the hands.
Yeah.
Versus, some guys that naturally draw it, they probably try to take that out of there.
Right.
So there we go.
Perfect. There's no one standing over there.
Yeah, we're better over there.
Now you've got a long iron into number 2 at Sawgrass.
Yeah.
Can you hit me one of those 2 irons, just like full send, like 18th tee shot at Sawgrass?
Yeah. So that one, yeah. So, that tee ball is also another tough one. You can't really, as much as you want to block it and not hit in the water, that's really how you make big numbers and bogeys. So you kind of have to challenge the shot. And so, that one all week, people were, commenting like, oh, why aren't you hitting driver 3-wood and trying to send it up there? I just didn't feel comfortable. I wanted to give myself a chance from the fairway. And I'm a pretty good mid-iron to long iron player, so I left my, I just kind of played to my game. So here, try to hit, the shot I was trying to hit, which was a kind of middle back stance, trying to hit a trap draw.
Oh, God, that's low.
Yeah.
That's the height that you like to hit that off the tee?
If I'm trying to draw it.
If you're trying to draw it?
Yeah, because I like to keep it low.
So sick.
Yeah, so it doesn't get out of play. So I did that really good almost every day. I hit this club twice, and then a 4-iron twice, all in the fairway.
Well, and I kept kind of wondering watching you, it's like, God, this guy's kind of leaving himself like pretty far in on some of these long par 4s. But then you kept hitting like 205-yard 6 irons to like 8 feet. So
Yeah.
then it was like, that's kind of hard to second guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously it's hindsight 2020, but in the stats say whatever, but I've just learned in my career in golf that whatever I feel most comfortable and whatever my eye sees is the correct play versus what everyone else is doing or what the stats say.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I push the envelope and that's what you're supposed to do, I sometimes tend to get bad results. And so on that hole, I just have never felt good hitting 3-wood or driver. Obviously, if the wind was into, you'd have to. But it just felt like an iron all week. And I left myself anywhere from a pitching wedge to a 6-iron. And I parred the hole every day, which is probably gaining on the field. So
We had like 3.5 on Sunday.
yeah, 3. Yeah, exactly. So then sometimes too, you know, I hit this club into the green. So then I'll put it more up on my stance, try to hit a cut, and kind of send one in the air.
Cool. So that, I mean, it's still like pretty penetrating. That's still kind of a bullet, but it's higher and softer for sure than the other one.
Yeah.
How
for sure.
far is that going?
This is one of those other clubs that goes the same distance almost every time. It's like 248 to 250. So if I try to hit the low one, obviously it doesn't fly as much, but it rolls more. But if I hit that shot, yeah, it's always right around 250 into par 5s, or sometimes off the tee as well.
How do you wrap up your warm up? Like, what do you?
So
Some guys have to, make putts before they finish, or you have to hit the last 3-pointer before you finish your warm up.
yeah,
and hoops.
exactly.
Like, what
So
do you do?
I play the first hole.
Okay.
So we do all that stuff. We're playing all the holes that are important, and then I get to, okay, let's play the first hole. So we start with the tee ball, then I hit the second shot. And then once we do that, we're like, all right, sweet, let's go. And then I'll walk over about 10 minutes prior to my tee time, hit 3-4 minutes of putts just to get that feel back, make sure the speed's good, and then you're off to the first tee.
Let's play the first hole at Augusta, because you were just there. Driver, we're probably going to keep out of your hands, but we could say that you hit the fairway if you want, and then just start with your approach shot. How far do you have in?
So I actually probably would hit 3-wood on the first hole, and then from there it's probably, depending on the wind, be an 8 or 7-iron. Let's just say, I mean, I really
you got 170 left or something?
Let's go 170 to that front left pin. So what I'll do is we're just kind of, hopefully it's center fairway, and it's a front left pin. You can't miss left there. So I'm going to try to start this ball, in my mind, kind of at the center to right center of the green and draw it into the flag.
Okay.
And if it doesn't draw, then I'm putting up the hill 20 feet. So. So yeah, I mean, it was it was probably a 5-yard draw. The wind held a little bit, but so you hit that shot and you go, okay, perfect. And then you just walk right to the tee and you already have hit the shot. You feel good, and you hopefully just replicate what you did on the range.
You get nervous on the first hole of every tournament?
Yeah, I always have the first tee jitters.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, even if you pipe one and start off with a birdie, that's just part of, that's what you want. That's the excitement. That's what we love about the game and competing. So I always kind of have the jitters maybe the first couple holes, and then you kind of get into it, and then that's when you really get comfortable and hopefully start hitting some.
And then you get nervous again at the end, like kind of lulls
yeah,
and ramps
it
back
does.
up.
It does. It especially, if you have a good round going or you get to a tough tee ball, your excitement gets up a little bit. And, for me, those last 3 holes at the Players, my heart was out of my chest the whole time, and you're super excited, and you have the fans and the crowd and the whole atmosphere, and obviously trying to win a tournament that I could probably PR in every physical workout if I could, and yet you're still trying to control your distances. So that's something that you learn as a pro. It's kind of challenging, but yeah.
Wyndham, thanks for warming up with us.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you.